Skinwalkers, shapeshifters, warlocks that can change their skin. In Latin America, these people are called Nahuales, warlock of the highest level degree that are able of changing their image into an animal, into a thing, for good or for evil. This is the story that made me believe in them. When I lived back in Mexico City, in Xochimilco, I was dating this girl. And one day that we were gonna have a date, when we were walking through Xochimilco, we saw a stray dog. This was a weird stray dog. It was a big, black, scary looking dog. Huge dog. Something weird about it was that he was by itself. Normally stray dogs moving fast. And no one came near him. I remember thinking it was an impressive dog. I told him, hey, if you follow me, I will give you half of my food today. We went to buy some tortas that day, and half of my torta, I gave it to that dog. As if it understood everything I said. That night, when I went to spend it on my ex house, I told the dog, if tomorrow morning you're here, I will give you half my breakfast too. She told me not to get my hopes up, that there was no way that the dog was gonna be there on the next morning. When we got to her room, she even told me, look through the window. I bet you that dog is gone. And if he knew where I was gonna spend the night, at what room in that house, when I peeked through the window to see the streets, that dog was sitting on the park in front of the house, just looking at the window. As if he was telling me good to have a good night. He waited for me to see him, and then he disappeared through the darkness of the night in Xochimilco. The next morning when we woke up, she told me, don't get your hopes up, that dog is not gonna be there. But something in me told me that he was going to be there, that he was already there. So I told her, you wanna bet something? And she told me, if the dog's there, I'll make breakfast for the three of us. But if it's not, you have to cook for everyone. We agreed on that, and that morning, the three of us ate breakfast on the sidewalk.
And what happened to the dog?
Well, I had to move out of state, and that dog went tell me goodbye when I got on the bus. It was as if that dog could understand everything I told him, every path we made, and every time I told him to be somewhere, he was there. After that, I asked my ex about him, and she told me that she never saw him again. I never saw it transform into a human. But without a doubt, there are certain animals that seem as if they understood and speak perfect language, and as if they could communicate without using words. Do you have any story about an Nahual in Mexico?
I actually have one that happened to one of my teachers back in Mexico. She was walking down the street when she saw an old homeless asking for money. In Mexico City, it's really common for people to ask for money to cars when the light turns red. And she felt pity for him because nobody was looking at him. Nobody was paying attention to him. So she went by to talk to him. He said, hey, gave him some change, and asked him, where are you from? He said he was from Tlaxcala. She asked, where are you on the streets? He said his family had abandoned him and he had nowhere else to go. She even asked where he slept. He pointed at some cardboards at the floor. He said, there, I sleep there.
In the sidewalk of the road?
On top of some cardboards, there were like 2 blankets. She saw this and felt real sad. So she gave her a little bit more money and said, I'll see you later. After that, she kept thinking of him over and over all day. So at night when she went to buy dinner, she thought of him and bought some for him too. After that, she went back to the intersection. And there, where the cardboards lay, she saw somebody laying down, covered with a blanket. She thought it was the old man, but she was shy to wake him up. Even this, she went, excuse me, sir. From the blankets came out a big black dog. She didn't think this was weird, since it's real common for homeless people to have pets. So she started talking to the dog. She said, "Hey, how are you? Do you know where your owner is?" She looked around but couldn't find him. So she was like, "Damn," because she wanted to go home. It was already late, around 10 p.m. She decided to hang his food in a light pole that was next to where he slept that had big nails. So she hung it there and told the dog, "Tell your owner that I brought him some food. Also tell him that I hope the night treats him well." Then she left. After a couple days, she was walking back through that intersection when she saw him. She went to talk to him. "Hey, hey, come here, come here." She asked him, "Do you see the food I left for you?" "Yes, thank you very much. It was real good." "Well, I hope you're fine. Thank you." And the homeless guy told her, "Also, I want you to know, the night did treat me well." She was shocked about this because nobody but the dog heard what she said. So from that day on, she believes in Nahuales because she's certain that a homeless guy could turn into that dog by his own will.
Do you believe in Nahuales?
After some of the stories that I have read, I have started to maybe not believe to 100%, but I'm not skeptical to them. I'm open for them to exist, if that makes sense.
I think that Skinwalker, shapeshifter, Nahuales, they don't only live like in the forest or in the woods trying to eat or hunt humans. As some places try to get us to think that. I think the people that are able to reach that high level of magic live among us. And there's a lot of stories about that. If you want to hear more stories, like the video, subscribe, and let us know in comments for us to tell you the scariest stories we have heard about Nahuales.
Let us know if you like this video. We'll be uploading more videos of this the following week, so stay put.